What is up, all my beautiful little passengers? I'm coming to you live, solo episode from Indonesia. I'm currently sitting in my hotel room in Bali, which is wild. I hope the audio sounds good because I don't know. I just started plugging in headphones and I turned my camera on. And I said, let's hope for the best. So hopefully you will be able to hear this podcast. You know what is freaking crazy is the fact that we have technology now and I am able to record a podcast from the opposite side of the world. It is currently 10 a.m. I don't know what time it is in Nashville, but anyways, whatever. We're here. We are alive. I'm happy to report that I do not have Bali belly. So last time I was in Bali, I did get deathly ill, and I'm happy to report back that I've never felt better. Also, I have 12 girls with me, and we are just having the best freaking time of our life. And I'm happy to report back that none of them have Bali belly. So look, all is well in my life. So today's little solo podcast, I want to do a quick little recap. I'll fill y'all in on kind of the Bali things. Did I go to dinner with Gary from Below Deck? Sure did. What a saint. I really, really enjoy his company. Anyways, we'll go into that. I deleted Hinge off my phone, and then I have a list of assumptions because I really felt like doing a podcast and hurting my own feelings today, if I'm being quite honest. I asked everyone on Instagram to write in their assumptions about me just because honestly don't have a reason why. I thought it would be fun. And it is interesting. Obviously, social media, I say this all the time. Social media is not real life. Influencing is not real life. So what you see on the internet is not actually what is someone's reality. So I think it was really interesting to see what y'all assume about me. Some of it is very true. Some of it is not true. I had my assistant write a list of every single thing that y'all sent in on my little Q&A. She did send me a little warning. She was like, I feel kind of bad sending you this list. And I was like, Georgia, sweet little baby angel Georgia, send it to me. I am ready and prepared to be roasted. And I am also ready to argue. I was going to say I would love to be a lawyer and pull an Elle Woods, but let's be real. I was a broadcast journalism major and that's about all I could do in college. And getting a law degree sounds really freaking hard as much as I want to be a cute little lawyer going to Harvard. Anyways, whatever. I will argue my case and I will tell you if you guys are right or wrong with these assumptions. But let's rewind a little bit. So I made it to Bali. I naturally, as one does, had the world's worst freaking travel day known to man because the Nashville airport, it just hates me. And at this point, look, I'll save y'all the drama. I'm sure you saw it on my Instagram stories, but all you need to know is flight cancellations, flight rebooks, my luggage got lost, then it got found, almost missed my flight. What should have taken me 24 hours to get to Bali took me 45 hours of travel. But you know what? It's part of travel and it makes you appreciate the destination so much more. But at this point in my life, I have not had a single positive experience at B&A, which is the Nashville airport. And look, I always look for signs in the universe and God telling me something. I really do think sweet baby Jesus is telling me, Morgan, I don't think Nashville is your place. I don't think for the amount that you travel, you can go through the stress and anxiety of traveling from the Nashville airport because it's just not equipped for international flights. I will tell this little story because I did not get to say this on my Instagram. So the reason my flight got canceled, this is just honestly comical. I show up in my little pink suitcase, 6 a.m. was my flight. I was like, okay, I'm the first flight out. There's no way that's just got to be positive, right? The plane can't break. There can't be too many delays. I'm good. I'm going to set myself up for success, even though I had to get up at 3 a.m. and I was utterly miserable. So I show up to the airport. Naturally, the pilot comes out. I'm like, every mother effing time a pilot comes out and he tells me bad news, I was like, here we go. He was like, hey guys, sorry. We're going to delay this flight. The toilet is clogged. And I'm like, you have literally got to be kidding me. I guess some passenger on the flight before just wanted to have a little heyday in the bathroom, shoved a bunch of toilet paper in the toilet. He was like, yeah, I'm sorry, we're going to have to unclog the toilet. We can't take off with one working bathroom. And I'm looking at all these people and I'm like, you guys can hold it. Just everyone, no one, we're going to stop drinking the water right now. We're just going to get on this plane. No one go pee. We'll be fine. Anyways, no, that didn't happen. Long story short, they couldn't unclog that little toilet. So they ended up canceling my flight after I waited probably 6 hours. And then, so my sister, because she is a flight attendant, she kind of can figure out the backstory. Like they have a flight attendant app. So she kind of knows what's going on when there's mechanical issues. And like, I don't know, there's like this whole flight attendant chat behind the scenes. So I asked her, I was like, dude, what happened to my plane? Like, come on, give me the tea. And she was like, you're going to hate this, but the toilet was clogged. And because Nashville is such a small airport, they couldn't find a maintenance guy to unclog the toilet. And I'm like, I would have volunteered. I would have taken my hand. I would have shoved it in a little, I don't care. I would have shoved it in that toilet and gotten the toilet paper out if it meant that my flight would not have been canceled, because then that led to, oh my God, just an utter disaster of being rebooked. And then they lost my luggage and they found my luggage. There was crying. I lost my seat. Anywho, all this to say, I just don't like the Nashville airport, and they need more plumbers. And also, y'all, if you're on an airplane, just like, I don't know, let's be mindful when we're wiping, okay? Like 2 squares of toilet paper. Don't use paper towels. I don't know. Anywho, what you need to know is I made it to Bali. It has been a wonderful, fun week. All the girls made it here. Thank the Lord. So we have 12 girls. I'm here on my Miles with Morgan trip. I think I'm going to do a whole entire episode recapping that, so I won't get into it too much. But I love all these girls so freaking much. It's just cool. Like, I get so nervous. Like, if you're listening to this and you're one of my Miles with Morgan travel girlies, like, I'm sure you're nervous walking into a situation where you don't know people. I get so nervous because I'm like, what if they don't like me? Like, what if they're like, I follow this girl and thought she was really cool, and I show up and I actually hate her. So I get always like a wave of anxiety, and then I meet all the girls and everyone is truly so awesome and amazing, and all is well. Before we go into the assumptions, because on Instagram, I went and got dinner with Gary from Below Deck. Sweet baby angel. The amount of DMs I got. I would like everyone to know that I am not romantically interested in Gary from Below Deck. The story behind that. Look, I have no shame in my game. I flew to Bali. I was here obviously early. I was supposed to go with Hot Aussie. Lo and behold, once again in my life, I was sent to a foreign country solo, but that's fine. I always like a few days to myself. I honestly love being alone in a foreign country, if I'm being totally honest. But I was just like hanging out, having dinners by myself. One of my followers sent me, look, I don't watch Bravo. I don't watch reality TV. I really don't know any of these humans. Maybe I should pull myself into the century. I don't know. But she sent me a message and she's like, hey, this guy Gary is also in Bali solo. You should message him. Look, guys, when I say I have no shame in my game, nothing embarrasses me. Nothing bothers. Like, I will send a DM to whomever. I'm actually thinking, like, have I DM'd any celebrities? I'm sure I've, back in my heyday, DM'd a slew of NFL players, but, like, clearly that did not work out for me. So I sent Gary a DM because I was like, that sounds like fun. Like, I think the beauty of solo travel is you meet people and you connect with them and you get to hear stories that you would not get if you were traveling with your boyfriend. You're traveling with your friend because you're just with them. Like, you're enjoying the company with that person you went with. But when you're solo, you're forced into basically like kind of like sometimes awkward situations. But I don't know. I just feel like I've met the coolest, raddest people because I go places by myself. Anyway, so I sent him a DM. He messaged me back. Very nice guy. I was like, hey, like, I have dinner reservations at this beautiful sunset spot. It's just me, like, if you want to meet me. So he met me. Yeah, but then all you guys messaged me, you're like, watch out for Gary. Like, be careful. And I'm like, guys, just because I had dinner with someone does not mean I'm going to marry them, okay? But we had great conversation. He's from South Africa, and I told him that I would love to go visit. So, like, will I go visit Gary's hometown? I don't know. Probably. Maybe. Who knows? Also, I was talking to him. Look, again, don't watch Below Deck, but it seems like a very fascinating show. Maybe I should, like, bring myself to start watching Bravo. I know you Bravo people are, like, die-hard Bravoers. He was telling me, because I was asking him all about the ship and what he did. I was just like so fascinated by this whole like yacht life. he was saying, he was like, well, you can be a guest on the show. Apparently, you can apply, which I'm definitely going to. So, like, Gary, if you're listening to this, like, tell the producers, throw me a bone. You can apply with your friends to be a guest on the Below Deck ship. They pay you, like, I want to say, like, 30 grand, and that's, like, to get your flights, to show up. You spend, like, 3 days on the ship. You get interviewed, I guess, and then you go home. I was like, that sounds sick. So, guys, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Yeah, and all the spare time I have between going to Bali and then going home and then moving to Lisbon, sure, maybe I'll apply to be on Below Deck. And that's like kind of it for my little pre-Bali trip update. Actually, right now, as I'm sitting on the floor in my hotel room, all the girls are out going to get tattoos. I'm like, you people are so ballsy. They asked if I wanted to get one, and I don't have any tattoos, and it did cross my mind. I was like, that would be fun. I think Bali is such a magical place. Maybe I should get a tat. And then I realized, I'm like, let's maybe think through this one. I feel like if I was to get a tattoo, my very first one should be maybe a little bit more mindful, not like, I don't know, I feel like I would get stressed out and just get like an airplane on my side. Like, I love travel. So all the girls are getting tattooed right now. I was telling them though, Alex, Shay, Willett, if you're listening to this, we're going to do it. If my parents are listening to this, I hope they're not, because they're definitely going to veto this idea. So if I was to ever get a tattoo, I would want to do one with my sister. So both of us, we're the last Willetts in the line. This is actually making me kind of sad. So my last name, my dad's Willett last name, will die. That sounds so morbid, but it'll die with me and my sister if and when we get married, which at this point in my life, who freaking knows? I'm kind of just accepting my fate of traveling the world, and I'm kind of okay with dying alone. I was talking to my sister, and she was like, Morgan, I think you need to stop saying that. I think that is a defense mechanism of like, you're scared to date and you don't want to get hurt. So you're saying you're just like fine dying alone. I'm like, look, Alex, don't read me right now. Let me talk about this in therapy. Anyways, if and when we get married, our last name, the Willett name, will go away. So I think for my first tattoo, if I was to get one, I want my dad, Kurt Willett, to write Willett in his handwriting. And I would like for me and my sister, like somewhere very small, to get our last name tattooed on us in my dad's handwriting. I think that would be so special. So unfortunately, I'm in Bali and I don't have my dad's signature with me, RIP. I also first maybe should date someone and get engaged and get married before like I do this whole like tattoo idea. But I think that would be so special. Wow, I'm getting emotional just thinking about this. Am I going to get deep right now? Anyways, I don't know. Recently, I've gone back and forth about like the idea of marriage. Anyways, maybe it's me running from problems. Maybe it's me being scared. But yeah, I don't know if marriage is in the cards for me. I really don't. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I'm kind of okay with it either way. But I have such anxiety that I will not get to do a father-daughter dance. Like, honestly, I could care less about a wedding. Like, I want to be happy in life. I want to travel. I'd like to have a life partner. Sure, a wedding sounds great. Who knows if it's guaranteed. But if Kurt Willett, this man who we love, Kurt is like the internet's dad. He is the best guy. He is probably the reason I have such high standards when it comes to dating. If I do not get to do a father-daughter dance with him, I truly think I will be utterly devastated. I actually have quite a bit of anxiety every time I think about it. I'm like, he's getting older and I'm getting older, and like, what if it's not in the cards for me? Like, I don't know. I don't know if that ever is, but just know, guys, all I want in life is a father-daughter dance with Kurt Willett. I literally want to tear up thinking about it. Wow, I've gone on some deep tangents here, but let's get into the Morgan assumptions. So I asked online, I said, y'all, roast me. You follow me on Instagram. Some people know me personally. If my friends are listening to this, some people have met me on like my Miles with Morgan's trips, but like most people don't actually know me. So let's get into these assumptions. And as I always promise on this podcast, I will be open. I will be vulnerable. I will be honest. And I will tell you if you are right or you are not. So let's start with this little list. Number 1, assumption: you put way more into your romantic relationships than they put into you. It's like kind of hurtful to read. I do think that is actually true. Am I ashamed by that? No. I've said this on the podcast before. I am not ashamed for how deep that I love. I'm not ashamed for wearing my heart on my sleeve. Yes, I do think in the past relationships I've had, I invest everything. When I care about someone, I care so deeply. I used to think it was a fault. Now I think it's a strength because, yeah, I give everything my all. And while in those relationships, it has not really been reciprocated totally, that's okay. All that means is that's not my person. These people served a purpose, and I really do think if I can continue, and if you're out there and you relate, and you're like, oh my God, that is so me, don't be jaded. Don't put up walls. Trust me, I tend to get there, and I have to remind myself that vulnerability is okay. Like, look, you will not get a beautiful love without a lot of heartbreak. So you've got to risk all the bad emotions. You have to risk the heartbreak, all of that, in order to possibly get to this beautiful love story where someone's going to love you as much as you love them. Unfortunately, I just haven't gotten there yet, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying. And also, yeah, it doesn't mean I'm ashamed. You're still trying to figure yourself out as an influencer. I actually agree with that as well. I feel like as I hit 30, I'm much more secure and confident where I am. Now, with that being said, I do a lot of things. We've got the fitness and the travel and the fashion and the Instagram and the app and all that. And yes, I do think I'm still trying to figure out where I really want to hone in on. I think I've definitely got a better grasp. I'm really thinking travel and lifestyle and building this Miles with Morgan community is where I'm heading. Less about like fitness and workout challenges, as awesome as that was. But yeah, I'm still figuring out, and who knows, I'm going to be 40 years old and still figuring out. And I don't know if I'm going to be slinging Instagram ads at the age of 50, but I'm sure I'm still going to be figuring out. I think that's the beauty of being a human is you're never going to have it totally figured out. And if you do think that you do, well, you're lying to yourself, because look, I think as humans, we're always growing and evolving. So yeah, who freaking knows where I'm going to be, but I do like the trajectory that I am heading. I actually was talking with the girls who helped me plan this Bali trip, and what I really want, I'm just going to go into a quick little spiel, because I do believe if I can speak this into existence, it's going to happen. Obviously, I'm going to keep slinging Instagram ads because that pays my bills, and I'm very thankful for that. But what I'm really passionate about is the community of women that I'm building. I love the travel trips. I love getting to see beautiful relationships come from that. I love getting to see women find their confidence and find friends and experience just like the magic of travel, because it really has changed my whole entire life. So my goal with that is to continue doing Miles with Morgan, build these trips, and then I want to do obviously international. And then my goal would be to do like a United States tour, because I know not everyone can hop on an international flight. People have jobs and families. So to do like weekend meetups, start on the West Coast and just work our way across, get women together, and then eventually I'll have enough people to add into like a massive Facebook group. Like think Miles with Morgan, like world domination, where you have this Facebook group and girls from my trips can connect. You can plan trips. Like you can post in the group and be like, hey guys, I'm going to Costa Rica. Anyone want to come? And then within that group, it's a trusted community. You guys can plan, or you can join more of my trips. Then from there, I want to take it a step further. I obviously want to buy a place in Lisbon because I selfishly just want to have that. I want to Airbnb it out, and then I want to make it like really marketed towards female solo travelers. So in the apartment, it would just be like cute, aesthetic, think pink, very girly. I would have all my travel tips. I'm thinking like photos of my travels on the wall. And then obviously I can market it to you guys or people in the Facebook group. And then I would love a 2-bedroom. So like say you're traveling solo, you can find someone in the group that maybe wants to join you. And then you guys can book the Airbnb. And then eventually I would love to have like 4, 5, 6 of these across the world that I can stay in, you guys can stay in. And yeah, hopefully I can do that and then continue doing the podcast and Instagram on the side. Wow, that sounds like an ideal life. I'm manifesting it. Okay, sorry, I'm going on so many tangents. I'm going to get through all these assumptions. Assumption number whatever. I thought you grew up rich because cheerleading is so expensive. Cheerleading is expensive. It really, really is. I wouldn't say that I grew up quote unquote rich. I think I grew up definitely very blessed. I think I grew up well off. But also, like, I owe my parents everything. My parents, Kim and Kurt, oh my God, I could cry thinking about it. They gave everything to me and my sister. Like, my dad, self-made man, worked from literally the ground up, had nothing, and then worked his ass off to provide for me and my sister. So yes, I don't think I ever went without growing up. But I think my parents, like, they started saving the second I was born, for college and for cheer. And I mean, my dad traveled nonstop. Growing up, I think he was gone basically like 3/4 of the month traveling, working to provide for us. And then my mom basically took care of the kids by herself, and she was driving us. Oh my God, I think my mom drove me an hour and a half to and from cheer practice, like 4 days a week. I was doing homework in the car, because she knew I was passionate about it, and she wanted to see me like fulfill all my dreams. Oh my God, I love Kim and Kurt so much. But to answer that question, cheerleading is expensive. Did I grow up like in a mansion with all these crazy things? No. I think my parents gave me quite a bit though. But I wouldn't say I was like spoiled. I mean, I definitely I had an allowance, I had a curfew, and even in college, like, my parents, I want to say, which is wild to think about, but I think my mom would give me like $150, maybe like $100 a week. And she was like, this is your spending money. Cause I was in college and I couldn't have a job because I cheered, and took classes and did that like full time. And I just remember, like, I would beg her. I'm like, Mom, I'm out of money. Like, I want to go to the grocery store. And she was like, sorry, save better. So yeah, Kim and Kurt instilled some values in us gals for sure. Oh my God, these are getting deep. You never stay in one place to avoid digging deep to heal old trauma. Maybe. I don't know. I gotta talk to Carly, my therapist, about that. I think that is true to an extent, and I think it's also not true. I think I value travel now, and I love seeing the world, and I also just realized there's so much of the world I want to see, and I've been given the world's most flexible job. So I think part of me is like, I feel guilty staying in one place because there's so much I want to experience. I am young, I am single, I have the ability to do it. So I think that is part of it. I'm like, I want to take advantage of what I can now. And I do think part of it is, yeah, I think I run from my problems. I think the second I have to start feeling, especially when it comes to relationships or relationships ending, it's a lot easier for me to go to a place and kind of forget about it versus staying in Nashville and just dealing with it. And I think part of me likes to be on the go because I don't want to date in Nashville. I think when I stay in one place, everyone's like, well, aren't you going to go on dates? And people want to set me up. And that's just not really a priority. And maybe it's not a priority because I don't see a forever in Nashville. I think it is a wonderful chapter. But if I'm being honest, I don't see myself there much longer. So yeah, it's like, why spend all this time there when I don't see myself there in the long run? So I don't know. That was a long-winded answer, but damn, y'all, am I that hard to read? But yeah, you're probably right. Maybe I should heal some old trauma. But I think all answers lie in Lisbon. That's what I keep telling myself every time I feel like I'm running or I feel like I need to like feel my feelings. I'm like, just get to Lisbon. I don't understand why I feel so called to this city. I really don't. I need to do like there's like this Venus line thing. And apparently if you track what time you were born and these lines and the planets, you can find whatever. Y'all, my astrology people message me and tell me what this is actually called, but you can find this line, and if whatever city runs through that line is apparently like the place you're called to be. So I'm very curious if that would be Lisbon. But yeah, something in like my heart of hearts is just telling me that while I'm a little confused now and maybe I'm running from my problems, I don't know, maybe I'm experiencing life, who freaking knows? I just feel like I have a calling in Lisbon. And I'm like, you know what? All answers lie in Lisbon. We'll figure it out. Okay, this person said, love ya. Anytime you start with love ya, I know you're about to hit me with an insult. Love ya, but every chance you get to bring up bananas, that gives him fame. You come across not over your past relationship. Okay, I actually have quite an opinion on this one. I think I am over the relationship because I can talk about it. If you have been in a narcissistic relationship, you understand. And if you haven't, I'm so thankful that you have never had to experience that. It was the hardest thing I have ever gone through. And this has nothing to do with me taking a dig at someone. This has nothing to do with me like trying to get back on TV. A narcissistic relationship will absolutely crush a person. And I think for like the first year after that relationship ended, I was a shell of a human. I was just trying to heal and get back. I could not speak about it because I wasn't over it. I was devastated. I was like legitimately having nightmares. I was like missing someone that I knew was bad for me, and that makes no sense. But if you've ever been in like somewhat of an emotionally abusive relationship, it does make sense. But I think that I'm able to talk about it now shows that obviously, guys, I am healed. I am over it. And I actually talked about this with Gabrielle Stone. So if you don't know of Gabrielle Stone, she's one of my good friends. She wrote the book Eat, Pray, FML. And I think she's a really, really great example of this. She constantly brings up her ex. And it's not, she's always like, it's not because I'm not over him. She brings it up because it is a tool to help other women. And I think that's what we as women do not do enough. I feel like we get so scared to talk about things that happen to us with fear of seeming that like we aren't over it or seeming like we're a broken record. And it's like, no, it is your story. If it happened to you, you are allowed to talk about that. So yeah, I do think I oftentimes bring up that situation because of the messages I get from other women saying, I was in a similar situation, and hearing your story helped me heal from that. So if I can continue reaching people, guess what? I'm going to keep talking about that. And also like, I just really don't care. I am not trying to get back on the challenge. Yeah, I made like a funny comment about being a partner with Mariah, but I'm really not thirsting to get back on MTV. And also, if I'm being honest, I don't think that I'm trying to phrase this without like making it sound bad. I don't think that enough men, especially men on reality TV who come from a place of power, I don't think that they are held responsible for their actions enough. If I'm being totally honest, I think they get away with a lot of really bad behavior. So I think part of me feels like, I don't know, when I bring it up, maybe it's helping, again, one, helping other women, and I don't know, maybe I feel like it's like part of me like trying to get justice. So I don't know, maybe that is like the wrong way to go about it. But anyways, long-winded answer, I think you're incorrect, and I think I am over it. The end. First looks, I thought you were a mean girl. I get this all the time. Yeah, and it makes me sad because I feel like maybe if you look at me on Instagram, I don't know, do I give it mean vibes? Y'all can let me know. But the second I meet someone, I feel like I'm such a squealer. I'm a yapper. I'm a hugger. Like, even if you like your personal space, I'm sorry, I'm going to invade your personal space and be like, can I give you a hug? So I really do feel like the second you actually meet me, all of those like mean girl assumptions will fade away. I don't know. Maybe I do give mean vibes. I feel like I smile and I beat bop around on Instagram. So I don't know. That one's kind of hard for me to accept because I don't think I'm a mean girl, but I don't know. Maybe I need to go reevaluate my Instagram a little bit more. Assumption, you want a big glamorous wedding. I wanted that up until like maybe a couple years ago. Growing up in small town Texas, yeah, oh my God. Well, one, I thought I'd be married by like 24, that I'd have kids by 26. Plot freaking twist. The idea of that now, I don't really want that for like another, I actually don't want kids until like 36, 37, if that. But yeah, I wanted this elaborate wedding. You know what's really funny, guys? I had a Pinterest board, and I don't know if you also did, but I, like in college, used to pin my dream wedding to my Pinterest board. And a while ago, I found that Pinterest board. It is so freaking funny what I used to want for this wedding. I had pinned pictures of a girl and a cowboy standing on top of a hay bale. Like, like that was what I thought my wedding was going to be. I wanted my accent colors to be turquoise and hot pink. I wanted chalkboard signs, which like that was trendy back in the day, but it is really funny to look back at like what I thought I wanted. And then even recently, I used to want like 300 people, a black tie affair, this huge to-do. And now, well, I definitely want a destination wedding. I think I want like 30, 40 people there. I think once I hit 30, I kind of realized like who my people are and who I want to pour my time into. And the list is dwindling, okay? So I don't want people there at my wedding for the sake of people being there. I also have the world's smallest family. I don't have any cousins. I only have one grandparent left. So like my side of the family is tiny. So hopefully I don't marry into like this big fat Greek family that wants 500 people. I love the idea of getting married like on a winery in Portugal, my closest people there, like a small intimate gathering. And then I want to travel the world with my people for like a week after. So yeah. I don't know. I still like the idea of having like a theme though. Like maybe everyone in like a fun floral. Believe it or not, guys, I actually don't want a pink wedding. Everyone always sends me like these fun trends of like big weddings. And someone recently just sent me like all the bridesmaids walked out to the Lizzie McGuire like, hey now, ow. And that would be really fun. But I'm like, man, I think old Morgan used to want that and now I don't. And a lot of people will send me like, oh my God, like this pink wedding. And I actually don't want that, which is freaking wild. Who am I? Next assumption. Ooh, this is a good one. Wow, I am such an easy to read human, aren't I? Deep down, you don't want to settle into a relationship and you are scared. That hit the nail on the head. I was actually just talking to my sister about this. Yeah, I'm terrified. I'm terrified that I'm going to let society get to me, or I'm going to let the fear of being alone get to me, and I'm going to settle for something that I don't want just for the sake of being in a relationship. Obviously, I mean, there's a biological clock, and there is all this pressure, and there is a huge fear. Every time I get on Instagram, I see another one of my friends engaged. I see another one of my friends planning a wedding. I see another one of my friends traveling with their boyfriend, and it looks so awesome and amazing, and I'm over here in a country by myself. So it is a huge fear of mine. I was just telling my sister this. I was like, dude, I love being alone and I love traveling the world, but I oftentimes get lonely. And when I get lonely, I start being like, damn, I want to date. I want to like meet someone. But I have such high standards. I know what I want. I am very secure. Like, I have my core values. I want those to align. I have a certain lifestyle. I want that to align. I don't know. I know what I bring to the table, and I think it's a lot. And I'm not going to settle for Joe Schmo just because like people think I should get married. So yeah, I am freaking scared about that. And I think that's what makes dating hard, because there's a fine line of, I have high standards and I don't want to settle, but I think in order to find that, you have to date and you have to experience different people. And for me, it is really, really hard for me to even get to the dating stage if I think that person doesn't meet X, Y, and Z. So I'm trying to be a little bit more open, but it's really hard. So, yeah. If anyone has any advice, actually, no, I'll just call my therapist. Assumption, you're a blast to party with, and when you get drunk, you still pull out cheer moves. True. God, there is nothing I love more than like getting with a group of girls. You find some cheerleaders, you have a couple of drinks, and we're like, should we make a stunt group? All right, I'm a back spot. We got a flyer. I actually, the Miles with Morgan girls, like there's a couple of cheerleaders. I was like, should we do some stunts? And they were actually down. So I need to remind them of that one. I also do think I'm very fun to party with. I think, look, throw me into a party environment. Give me a couple of drinks, some good music, and I am a good time. I also just feel like I'm like the Energizer Bunny. Like when I start, I can't stop, which is like a pro and a con, because sometimes it's like, get your ass to bed, Morgan. There was no reason in Vegas for me to be drinking at 5 a.m. But again, I'm a good time. If you want a good wing woman, I am your girl. until I hit a wall and like need to sleep, then don't talk to me for like a week straight. Here's an assumption that I actually haven't talked about on my social media, mainly because it just was like so long ago. Assumption: you got a nose job and more work than you say. If anyone private messages me, I am so open about it. Like, I have no issue telling you that I did get a nose job. I've actually talked to quite a few of my followers about it. I'm not like blasting it on social media, mainly because it was so long ago. It was like before reality TV, before anyone even knew me online. It was like right after college. But again, I'm an open book. If anyone ever wants to DM me and ask me questions, I have told people my doctor. I have told people all the things. Also, like, if you go and look at old photos, you definitely can tell. So yeah, your assumption is correct. But other than that, like, I'm pretty open. Like, I love a lip filler. I love my Botox. I love my boobs. Is that it? I think that's all. Assumption. Oh my gosh, this is so incorrect. Assumption: you don't run on much sleep. Guys, I know it seems like I am just on the go nonstop. I have to sleep 8 hours a night. If I sleep any less than that, oh my God, I am the most miserable person on the planet Earth, which is so funny because people do often message me. They're like, girl, do you sleep? Do you take naps? And I'm like, no, I really do. Like, I prioritize sleep. I will say though, I do not nap. There's something wrong with me. I don't know why. God has his favorites and I was not one of them. I cannot nap. If the sun is up, I am up. I don't care how hungover I am. I don't care how tired I am. It is truly such a frustrating thing. But yeah, I'm not a napper, which is why I guess I'm very productive during the day. But I think especially as I hit 30, I have to prioritize sleeping. So like even on these Miles with Morgan's trips, like some of the girls want to stay out super late. I'm like, all right, 11 p.m. It's weird. We're cutting into my 8 hours of sleep. So wrong assumption. I'm surprised y'all think that I don't sleep. Assumption: you make a lot of money. I think it's tacky, personally, to talk about like salary. I know some influencers do, and I'm just like, I don't know. The way I was raised in the South, my dad was like, there's some things you don't talk about, and it's politics and money. And I'm like, yes, sir, Kurt Willett. I think I'm well off. I think the influencer industry is a lucrative industry, and I think you can make a ton of money. I will also say that I work my ass off for where I am. Like, there's no off days. And this is not me like making an excuse of like, yeah, well, like I do well for myself, but here's why. Like, no, it is the truth of the situation. I believe, and I always have, in 7 streams of income. So while I do Instagram, and yes, Instagram ads pay my bills, I also am so scared of that going away, which is why I feel the need to diversify my income. So it's like, I have my Like to Know It. I have my app. I'm hoping and praying this podcast makes me money at some point in my life. I've got my merchandise. I've got, X, Y, and Z, like all these different things that I am constantly trying to hustle and do because I want to set myself up for the best future possible. So if you're listening to this, oh my God, 7 streams of income, baby, look it up. It is so important. And also, guys, I'm so aware that Instagram can go away tomorrow. But to answer that assumption, yeah, I think all influencers are definitely doing pretty well. You're out of touch with the majority of society. I think I'm pretty self-aware. I don't know, but someone did ask me that on my Instagram, and I will say I feel like I'm pretty transparent and upfront that influencers, yes, I think are unrelatable. I think the lifestyle that influencers live is not how most people live. I also am very aware that it can go away tomorrow and it is lucrative. And a lot of these influencers don't realize that, which goes back to my point of like why I try and have like the seven different streams of income. I don't know. Am I out of touch with reality, guys? I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty aware of my blessings. That's why I try so hard to be transparent. That's why I try and do the giveaways, because I am aware that like I would not be here without you guys supporting me and listening and engaging with me. And I am so aware of the travels and that not a lot of people can do it and that it is unrelatable, which is why on Instagram I'm always like, dude, I watch my own stories and I'm like, bitch, you are annoying. Like, I am living your life and I am annoyed by it. So I always try and kind of be mindful of that and transparent of like, hey guys, like I'm posting a lot of ads, or like, hey guys, I know I'm traveling and I know it is unrelatable. Like, here, let me bring my own self down to earth. Yeah, I don't know. Did that answer that assumption? Who knows? That you care about name brands. I do and I don't. I feel like I have a couple name brand purses. I feel like, honestly, I just bought a bunch of fake designer stuff in Bali because it's so cheap and it looks so real. Like, I bought this Chloe bag. It was 26 bucks. It looks like literally just like the designer. So no, like I love Amazon. I love thrifty things. I love saving money. But yeah, I think now that I've, worked so hard, I do like splurging, and like I bought a Chanel bag and I think I have a Gucci bag. But no, I'm not the girl that like needs to wear all things designer or I feel like lame. I'm like, nah, I love me a good knockoff. Love it. Assumption, you will be a good mom, but you're scared you won't find a good dad. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I think that's true. I will say though, and I don't know if this changed as I started traveling or it changed as I hit 30, but my idea of family and kids has definitely shifted. I used to, in my late 20s, early 20s, like really be like, I want to be a mom and I want to have a family. And like I put a lot of weight into that. And that has definitely changed. I think I do want a family, but if that doesn't happen for me, I'm definitely a-okay. And maybe that's just because like I'm kind of in like a selfish era. I'm 30, I'm traveling. Like right now I'm like the last thing I want to worry about is childcare and paying for another little tiny human. Like I want to be paying for myself right now. I think in the future, I definitely want that. I think I will be such a good mom. And I think that's mainly because I was raised by such a wonderful mom. So I see what my mom did for me and I do want to do that for another tiny human. But yeah, I think I'm honestly, scared I won't find a good dad, scared I won't find a partner, scared I'm going to have to settle. But I think that's also freaking normal. I think any single person out there can agree with me that, yeah, it's scary, but that shouldn't be the reason we stop living life. Assumption, you're a girl's girl, but you pick bad friends. Oh my God, no. I will say, the reason I feel like I'm able to do what I do and I feel like I'm somewhat grounded is because of the community I have. I am the luckiest person with my friends. I'm assuming they're listening to this podcast. I hope, I don't know, Heather and Alexis and Blakely and Gina and Taylor and Melina and, oh my God, who am I forgetting? And TJ and just like all my freaking friends. I'm so blessed. And I don't know why I say this all the time. I don't know why God has given me the amazing humans in my life. But no, I think this assumption is so off. Again, but I always say you get what you give. And I think that goes with relationships. If you want a good friendship, you have to be a good friend. You have to invest in those relationships and you will get that back. Don't be an energy taker, be an energy giver. Wait, is that it? Yeah. That's what I say. Don't be an energy taker, be an energy giver. And honestly, like I feel kind of bad. Like I feel like I need to apologize to my friends because I've been disappearing in Bali for 2 weeks and like haven't been checking the group chat. And it weighs heavily on me. I'm like, oh my God, I'm being such a bad freaking friend. Like I need to make sure like I'm investing in their life, etc. But no, dude, I freaking love my friends. Assumption that you have never worked outside of TV and influencing. That is false. I had a job at Joe's Pizza and Pasta in high school. I was a server, and my very first day as a waitress, I dumped a tray on a table and a woman in front of me, and they demoted me to hostess. So I was just like the little face of the restaurant. I nannied in college. I worked at a boxing gym in college. My very first job was in LA. I was a front desk worker in my little yellow t-shirt at SoulCycle. What else did I do? I had a sweet little 9-to-5 right out of college. I worked as a PR assistant and then I quit 2 weeks later to go on reality TV. So no, I will say like me working in the corporate world, not really. I've definitely had odd jobs, but I would say my main source of income, my main career, yeah, I guess that is a true assumption, has been focused around influencing and TV. Ooh, this one, that you can have a conversation with a stranger. True. Yeah, that is one thing. I think I was born just very extroverted. I will say, like, I do have a social battery and sometimes it depletes and I need to recharge, but throw me into a strange situation and I can really talk to anyone. Yeah, I always say like I can talk to a freaking wall. Is that a blessing? Is it a curse? I don't know. But yeah, your girl is definitely extroverted. Assumption, you're a terrible driver. I've totaled 2 cars. So that is a true assumption. Not a good driver. A lot of my friends from home actually refuse to be in a car with me as I'm driving. I've gotten much better. Now I like really love my I like drive this like little cute red Audi. So I'm a little bit more cautious because I love that car so much. I'm like, please, dear God, just don't total this one, okay? And I bought it with like my own money. So I'm like, we need to take care of it. But yeah, not a good driver. I did total 2 cars and it was my fault. RIP to my cute little Hyundai Elantras. They didn't stand a chance. But like, thank God I was okay. Assumption, you wanted to be a Dallas Cowboys cheerleader growing up. I mean, I feel like every girl in Texas wanted to be a DCC at some point. But the difference is in like what a lot of people don't realize. So Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders is actually like, they should be called Dallas Cowboys dancers. So I grew up as a cheerleader. I was like tossed in the air. I did the flips. I did the tumbling. I did the jumps, all that. I was not a trained dancer. So I think I realized quickly growing up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's not ever going to be in the cards for me. Like I can kind of dance, but I'm definitely much more the girl who is going to do like a backflip versus the girl who's going to do like the pretty little spins. Also, after watching the DCC show on Netflix, it is intense. And I don't know if I want to subject myself to that. Like what's her butt? The head coach, Kelly, terrifying. Like, I don't need Kelly to look at me and be like, you need to fix your face, okay? But I do really want to get a DCC on the podcast, just like pick their brain. I was supposed to have Victoria on. I'm not going to lie. Like, I really was a fan of Victoria, but she, like, we had talked, we had set a time to go on the podcast. We had gone back and forth. Like, she was supposed to come on this podcast, and then she just, like, legitimately ghosted. Like, did not respond, stopped answering all my emails, so I was a little disappointed by that one. I hope she's well. If she ever wants to come on the podcast, she's more than welcome. But I think I'll try to go for one of the other girls. I don't know what's happening with old Victoria. Ooh, this is a good one. That you pretend to love going out for social media, but actually love being at home. You got me there. Okay, I do think that actually is kind of an accurate assumption. I go in waves. Like I will have one wild night out and then I need a week to recover. So like, yes, I do love me a social event. But y'all have to understand when I put myself in that situation, I have a very, very hard time saying no. So like, I'm not the girl who can go out for a few drinks. I am the girl who goes out and one drink turns to 10, turns to an all-nighter, turns to a rage, turns to like dancing on tables. Like it's a slippery slope for me. Because once I get in a social situation, I'm like, let's freaking go. And then I hate my life and have anxiety for like the rest of the week. So I like to do it in doses. Like I like a special occasion. I love partying like when I travel, like having one wild night out. But then honest to God, and I think this is because I am on the go so much too. Like I travel so much. So when I'm at home, like I really, really value being at home. So I guess that is kind of a true assumption. But I also don't think I party that much on social media. So that is funny that like some people look at my social media and think that. No, I feel like it's like kind of a healthy balance. But yeah, I will say like I do love being at home in my bed. Okay, a couple more assumptions. This person said you were the hype girl of your group. I definitely think that would be me, but I think all my friends are hype girls. Like there's nothing better than like taking photos of your friends and like hyping them up behind the camera. Like if you are ever asked as a girl to take some photos, please be the girl who's like, yes, queen, angles, work, you look so good. Like it just makes someone feel so special. So I guess I think that's the cheerleader in me. I think I'm always just going to be a hype girl. I'm always going to be a woo girl. I know people think that's annoying. Look, I am the definition of I'm not mindful. I'm not demure. Like that whole trend, that is the opposite of me. Like I am actually just like a squealer, a yapper. I have no chill. I'm not mysterious, but I will be a really good hype girl. Okay, last but not least in these assumptions, this is actually really interesting. If the world ended, I would not know how to grow food. Yeah, that is true. Let me tell you the amount of food that I've grown from the ground. It's nothing. I actually think I had like a tomato plant when I was younger, but I don't think it actually ever like blossomed into anything. No, yeah, if the world is ending, I'm screwed. I'm done. I need a Postmates. I need electronics. No, I don't know how to grow food. That is my friends' jobs. Like my friends in Nashville, like they can freaking bake all these loaves of sourdough. They've got gardens. I'm like, look, I don't need to grow anything because I got friends who can do that. So work harder, not smarter. That is my view on life. No, yeah, literally if the world is ending, I'm probably going to be the first one to go, but that's fine. That's why I try to live such a wild, outlandish, crazy life, because when the world is ending, I'm like, I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm actually not trying to stay alive. If it is my time to go, Lord, take me. I am ready. I've lived a lot of life in these 30 years. Wow, guys, are my feelings hurt right now? Not really. Kind of. I don't know. That's honestly really interesting. I hope that allowed you guys to know me a little bit more. I'll try and do more of these little interactive Q&As on the podcast. Oh, let's see. Oh, shit. I got to go pack. Our van's going to be here in like 10 minutes. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this fun little solo episode. We are going to wrap season 3 very soon. So I think we've got a few more episodes. I'll try and do a Bali recap. Definitely follow my adventures on Instagram. I am about to go to Lisbon and live abroad as a little European girly for like 4 to 6 weeks. I'm nervous. I'm freaking out. I'm excited. What's going to happen? How do I grocery shop in a foreign country? Are there gyms in a foreign country? Am I going to make friends? Am I going to like my Airbnb? How am I going to pack for that long? Anyways, we don't know. Life be lifing, man. Guys, thanks so much for listening. As always, share this with a friend. Send it to your mom. Send it to your grandma if you want. Share it on socials. I would be so appreciative. And I will see everyone next week. Bye, guys. Thanks so much for listening to Off the Rails podcast. It's been real. It's been unhinged. And I'll see everyone next week. In the meantime, do all the podcast things. Like, listen, leave a 5-star review, and catch up with me on socials at Off the Rails with Morgan. Bye.